continuing our study of Purusha Sukta. Rekha has pointed out that there were a couple of mantras which we have not commented. I will come back to that once we complete the rest of because for the continuity of thought, let me complete and then we'll come back. And anyhow, I have to give an overall review of Purusha Sukta, because right now Purusha Sukta has become kind of disjointed. So we'll put everything in perspective. What is the central message? What is the architecture? Why this particular sukta is considered as the most important of everything. So a few theoretical points we have to touch. At that point, I will also clarify whatever we have missed. So the next mantra we have to take up is Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam Aditya Varnantamasah Parastat Tamevam Vidvan Amrita Iha Bhavati Nanya Pantha Vidyate Yanaya. That mantra we have to study. This is after Adbhyas Sambhutah, the next mantra. Adbhyas Sambhutah Prithivyairasacha Vishvakarmanas Samavartatade Tasya Tvashta Vidadadrupameti Tatpurushasya Vishwamajanamagre Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam. That's what we had to touch. So the overall meaning of this mantra is Etam Purusham Mahantam. This extraordinary person, Mahatma, is Mahantam. Antam means inside, one who is great inside. That is Mahatma. This great Mahatma, I know, Aham Veda, this Purusham, this person, I know, this universal person, I know, whose characteristic is Tamasaha Parastat. Tamas means darkness, opacity, the Tamoguna, who is beyond Tamasaha Parastat, who is self-effulgent, self-luminous, like the sun, Aditya Varnam. And then one who knows this, Tam Evam Vidvan, he who knows this universal person in this way, Iha, in this life itself, Amritam Bhavati, becomes immortal. Na anyaha pantha vidyate. There is no other way than this. Ayanaya, for the sake of, for transcending. For transcending, the sense of mortality has to be done in this life itself. As we are living, as we are very conscious of the mortality of the body, we should also experience the immortality. For knowing the immortality, what is the way? The only way, there is no other way. Na anyaha, not anyaha, other, pantha, path. Vidyate, exists. No other path exists other than knowing that this inhering principle in every mortal body is immortal. And that who is inherence is called Purusha, who is Maha-antam, that is who is the great indweller, Antam, indweller, Maha-antam. Aham Veda, I came to know. So that is the word meaning of this mantra. But then there are several problems that arise here. So first of the problem is that which is beyond tamas. If there is no touch of tamas at all, tamas means opacity, if there is no touch of tamoguna at all, then such a thing will not become perceptible to our senses. Because unless something has got form and name, or name, because we can say a person has love for the child. So the love here is just a name, but it is perceptible to the emotion, isn't it? So therefore still it is object. And still it has got a streak of tamas. Otherwise, even your mind cannot perceive. So that which cannot be perceived by any sense organs, or that means any of the sense organs, manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankara, antakarana, the 5 organs of action, 5 organs of knowledge, it can be perceptible only if there is a little bit of tamas in it. But here the mantra says, tamasaha parastat, one who is beyond tamas. So as soon as you say one who is beyond tamas, how can you say, I know? Because as soon as you say something that I know, means you are able to objectify. Since objectification is impossible because there is no tamas, are you making a false claim that you know? So to resolve this problem, Veda, the word Veda should not be translated here as I know. Because a lot of translations you will see everywhere, even some of the very good translations also translate it as I know. Actually, it should be Panini, the grammarian, has given us different kind of etymology for the word Veda. One of the etymologies is Vidlabhe. Vidlabhe is the root that we have to take here. Vidlabhe means I have acquired, I have achieved, I have obtained, I have profited. All this is the meaning of Vidlabhe. So what did I do? I attained the state, because attainment of a state is not an object, isn't it? You cannot objectify I without any qualification. Because if you have to qualify I, either you have to qualify it with the body, or you have to qualify it with the mind, or you have to qualify it with one of the possessive pronouns, me, mine, for me, because of me, etc., called karakas. So many of these things have to be done. If you remove all those things, how do you say you are I? But don't you know that you are I? So this is the sense we have to take. I realized. So it may be a better translation to say, I realized this Purusha who is Antam, who is beyond all the darkness. All the darkness means all matter. This here especially it is the Shariratraya, the Stula, Sukshma, Karana Shariras, the gross, the subtle and the causal bodies, the gross, the subtle and the causal universe, who is inhering in all these things that are in a flux. All these things are what they are and what they appear to be because of the Mahantam. This immense person is the inhering principle. I realized that without such an inhering principle, nothing can be perceived. So now look at the twist that happens here. I can perceive anything, I will be able to objectify anything only because of this inhering principle. If the inhering principle were not there, then what happens? Everything simply does not exist, is not perceptible at all. So now the question is, we have to question this perception itself. We will come to that. How to question our perception itself that something exists. Then, or something does not exist, or something exists because of something else. Something exists because of something else without whose existence nothing can exist. So this is we are playing game of words, but there is also a logical flow of thinking here. So therefore, here he says, Evam vidvan amritam bhavati. Vidvan, as you know, vidvan means a scholar, a learned person. Vidvan means one who knows. So again, is this objectification? How can it be? Because earlier we said you cannot objectify the inhering principle. Now you are saying that one who knows this is the one who attains immortality. That means one who knows by negation, that nothing can exist without the inhering principle. One who knows in this manner. In which manner? In the manner the mantras have described earlier. One who has got 1,000 heads, Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, etc., etc. We'll have to connect all these things as to how this mantra connects with the thesis in the earlier mantras. And then this has to be also. So if something is to be experienced, that experience begs illumination, isn't it? If something is not illumined, you cannot perceive it. An object, for example, that this book is there, you know only because of the light that is shining on it. So therefore, what is this light? This light that is not a light. This light shining on a thing that is not a thing. Look at the challenge that the Rishi has. What is this? So therefore, he is saying this light has no tinge of tamas. Because even the light, the actual light which is illumining, it has got a tamas because it casts a shadow of the object. Isn't it? So therefore, if the Mahantam Purusham, the inhering principle, is something that is illuminated, it must cast a shadow. But the self does not cast a shadow. So that light which does not cause a shadow to fall because it is beyond all darkness, one who realizes this is the one who knows and who can become immortal. That means every conception of how we know is completely dissolved in this mantra. So any methodology of knowledge, what we call as pramana means measurable knowledge, all those measurable knowledges fail. Then what succeeds? What succeeds is pure experience. One who experiences the pure experience of the pure illumination, which is beyond all darkness, one who knows, only that person experiences immortality. So the only way in which we can understand is that you have got to negate everything that is mortal, everything that is temporary, everything that has got a tinge of tamas. Na anyaha pantha vidyate. This later acharyas like Adi Shankara and others have very well articulated nitya anitya vastu vivekaha. That means one who has got the discrimination between what is permanent and what is not permanent. So iha in here, right here, he actually attains immortality. And there is a beautiful commentary to understand this mantra in the Vishnu Sahasranama, where the Vishnu Sahasranama says, Indriyani manobuddhihi sattvam tejo balam dhritihi vasudeva atmakani ahuhu kshetram kshetrajna evacha. So Vishnu Sahasranama claiming that kshetram, kshetrajna, that is that which is manifesting with tamas, kshetrajna, that who knows it exists and inheres in this field, making the field as it is, and that which is all our sense organs, indriyani, the emotional mind, manaha, the intellectual intellect, buddhi, the essence or the purity, sattvam, the shining ability called tejaha, the strength, balam, the stability. Balam means without strength, nothing can exist even for the briefest period of time, isn't it? Even if if a small ant has got to walk, it must have that much of power to carry its own body. And when it is able to carry its own body, it has got stability because it can stand, it can move, it can walk. That is called dhriti. So then if you apply this to the mind is capable of an emotion, staying in that emotion, experiencing a strength of the emotion, and same thing you apply to intellect also, the ability to learn, the ability to retain, the ability to be strengthened by the knowledge. Who gives that? From where did you get that? All these things, Ahuhu. See, even Vishnu Sahasranama, the author of Vishnu Sahasranama, Vedavyasa, also says, this is said in the Vedas. Ahuhu means told. So who told? It is told in the Veda. This is the Veda Vakya, direct reference to the mantra under study. So this is a commentary. Vasudevan Atmakani Ahuhu Kshetram Kshetrajna Evacha. So to clarify this further, we are able to see all the manifested beings. Every manifested being has got to have a creator. And that creator is called the Lord of the created. That is, Lord is Pati and created is Praja. So, Prajapatihi, the one who created all of this, Garbhe Antaha Charati. So, he is the one who is giving the motion, the mobility to everything inside. Inside where? Into the womb. So if I am able to even lift this little finger, it is because that inhering principle is actually moving everywhere. This we will see elsewhere in Prashnopanishad also, where the life force enters and divides itself into the multitudinal forces in our body, that the eye can see, that the ears can hear, that we can breathe in, we can breathe out. All of those things are because of the original principle called prana. And that is the one which is moving inside. And how is it moving? How is this life force moving inside us? Was it created by me? If it was created by me, then what happens? The gross body without life should be born. Even for the briefest moment, the body should be there without life force. But what is our everyday experience? It comes, the child comes out with life. If the child, if even that first day of conception, if there is no life force, then there is no growth. So which enters first? Does the life force enter first or the gross enters first? It is the life force, it is the prana that enters first, and therefore Garbhe Antaha. So, and then Antaha what? In what way? It is in mobility, Charati. It's a tough mantra to understand. And that means, is the child, because that is easy to understand for us, that at conception is the association of the gross potential. Is it born at the same time along with the life force? Or was the life force already existing and blessed by this life force, this matter manifested in the life force is the question. Which came first? Prana was already there, and into prana the matter entered. And therefore prana is before the creation of an object. So therefore, if you consider the universe, even before the universe manifested itself, this prana was there. So therefore we talk about creation, preservation and destruction only with reference to the universe. No universe. Isn't it? We don't talk about creation of the prana. Only with the universe. Therefore what is prana? Uncreated. Uncreated, unborn. And therefore this Purusha we are talking about is Ajayamanaha. Now very interesting phraseology here. That which was never created, probably in Sanskrit we should have used Ajataha, isn't it? Unborn. But what is it saying? Ajayamanaha. Ajayamanaha means actually one who is not bornable, if I can use that word. Huh? Yeah. One who is not birthable. One who. So it's something that cannot be born at all. We cannot say unborn, isn't it? It's not like an unborn child. So therefore he is very, very carefully, the Rishi uses the word Ajayamanaha. That means no external force is capable of making this being born. Ajataha, suppose I use the word Ajataha, then it is somebody has a volition that this can be born or this need not be born. Not so, because that entity, that Mahantam Purusham is actually self-contained. It's not something else cannot order it. He who knows it this way is immortal. Then, therefore he is called a Dhira, one who knows like this. So the mantra says, Tasya yonim parijananti. Tasya yonim means origin or reality or the fact. That reality, parijananti, not even just jananti. Jananti means one who knows. Parijananti means knows perfectly, accurately. One who knows accurately, we will call him as intelligent. Dhiraha. Bahudha vichayate. Ekam, one who cannot be born at all, Bahudha vichayate, appears as many. One who cannot be born, one who cannot be made to be born, one who was never born, and one who is always there, one who is always inhering, and then that becomes many. Because we are seeing many. Bahudha vijayate. So now it appears as though he is born. It appears as though he is born as the universe. It appears as though he is born as many. Isn't it? It appears as though there is one bulb here, there is another bulb there, there is another bulb there, there is a fan there, there is a light here. It appears like that. But what is the one existing principle? It is the electricity behind, isn't it? And the electricity does not appear or is created when I switch it on. Electricity is ever present in the circuit. And therefore, when it is tamasaha parastat, when you don't switch on the light and there is no light in this room, does it mean to say that there is no electricity? Therefore, tamasah parastat. I'm just giving, it's a crude example, but it works. So this is tamasah parastat. Therefore, it appears as though he is born as Brahmanda and Pindanda. Brahmanda means the universe, Pindanda means the microcosm. Brahmanda is macrocosm, Pindanda is microcosm. And then, who can know all this? Only the greatest of the great sages who contemplated in the beginning, Marichinam. Marichi was one of the earliest sages, which is a manifestation of this inhering principle as pure knowledge. That is why we use the word Rishi. Rishi comes from the root Rish. Rish means ray, a ray of light. So when in an extraordinarily refined mind, the flash of knowledge that comes is called Marichi. Because that is how inspiration comes. Inspiration is not external, isn't it? As the word itself suggests. It is coming from inside. So one who knows like this, ajayamanaha, one who is the not birthable, ajayamanaha, bahudha vijayate, who becomes many and moves about in the womb of all creation as Prajapati, and one who knows this will attain the state of the original sage, for whom who attained the knowledge, not knew, who attained the knowledge of this absolute. And there are many epithets. Again, back to Vishnu Sahasranama. Marichardamano hamsaha suparno bhujagottamaha hiranyanabhas sutapaha padmanabha prajapatihi. All these mean the same. So there also they use the word prajapatihi, they use the word marichi. So that's how Vishnu Sahasranama's glory is. In many places it gives us a lovely commentary on Purusha Sukta. So this is these two are not very easy mantras. So therefore, whoever knows this properly, parijananti, they are dhiraha, they are absolutely they are intelligent. So this intelligence, where does it take us? Any other intelligence will give us a certain status and position and wealth. But what is this status, position and wealth here? It is the absolute itself. Tadvishnoho paramam padam sada pashyanti surayaha. Sada pashyanti, those who all constantly have this vision, every single moment, they are surayaha. Suri means one who can see perfectly. It comes from the same root as Surya. One who can see perfectly, and that state or that position, that rank is the rank of Vishnu himself. Tad Vishnoho paramam padam. The same thing in Narayana Upanishad also. I think did we study Narayana Upanishad? Yeah, in Narayana Upanishad also it's called Savishnureva bhavati, Savishnureva bhavati. This is the commentary for that. And then, so what is the purpose of these three mantras that we have studied? We see the universe and we see the individual. We see the universe and the individuality as sentient, because we are able to transact with that. And this sentiency or the Chaitanyam is real, because we can experience it. This Chaitanyam or this reality is only a manifestation of not the object. It is the manifestation of not the elements. It is a manifestation of the original consciousness, and whatever we see and perceive is called upadhi. Upadhi means superimposition. So the world is a superimposition on this, the individual is a superimposition on this. And what does this superimposition do? It makes the Adi Daivika, Adi Bhautika and Adhyatmika as real. It makes it look as though it is real, and therefore this perception that something is real while its reality is given by the inhering principle and not intrinsic to it, is called ajnana. So why did the sages use the word as ajnana? Jnana means knowledge. When you prefix it with a, what happens? Not. That means it is not jnana. So please don't misunderstand ajnana means ignorance. Ignorance also you can apply, because ignorance means it is a refusal to recognize. That this enormous principle is there, if you refuse any reality to that, that means you are refusing the knowledge. And therefore it is ajnana. Now that brings us to an interesting point. What exactly is this ajnana? And how did that come to me? That we will see in the next class. So I'll introduce you some technical terms of what ajnana really means. Yeah, that is, I'll just give you a clue so that you don't go in too much of a suspense. Ajnana is a state where it exists and it does not exist. Something that exists and at the same time does not exist. In certain circumstances it exists, in circumstances it does not exist. That is ajnana. We will see this ajnana incidentally is both cosmic and microcosmic. In cosmic, or what we call as samashti ajnana is there. What are the characteristics of cosmic ajnana and what are the characteristics of the microcosmic ajnana? We'll analyze in the next class.